Hi, Papercut here, and I want to help you get better at AOE 4. To do so, I'm building a video series that will explore and break down all aspects of AOE 4. From military to economy, from the beginning steps of the game to breaking down the most complicated aspects. I invite you to take part in AOE 4 School. Our topic today, executing a game plan. Hello, welcome to AOE 4 School. Today we're going to be focusing on a plan and executing a plan. So, every game, you're going to be successful if you have a plan going into it. But if all you do is follow that plan to the letter, you will probably lose. Because you need to both have a plan that fits your civ, who you're playing against, and also make sure you're reacting to what your opponent is doing. We also can throw in maps in there, but we're going to focus just with the plan and what the opponent's doing. I have a game up that I played the other day that I think kind of shows these properties, but let's talk through real fast what this means. First, what your plan is going in. Your plan should always include what your civ is best at, versus predicting what the other person's civ wants to do based on that civ, and how you're going to respond to that. That's what the beauty of this game is. Every civ has something they're good at, and every civ has a certain way they have to respond to what the opponent is good at. So, let's do this for example. I have Delhi versus Malians. Which is an interesting matchup. So Delhi, what's my advantages as a civ? As the Delhi, you are a feudal powerhouse that then has to play smart to transition it into a longer game of castle and imp sometimes, but you try to stay out of that based on what your opponent is doing. Now, a lot of people think Delhi is a one-tier, like one focus civ, and it is. You want to get sacred sites, but what you do after you get those sacred sites is heavily dependent on the civ you're playing against. So in this case, playing against the Malians, with my need to get sacred sites, I need to respond to their passive income. Now, as Delhi, I get free upgrades. My berries provide me a lot more food. I can make units even faster, so I need to make units, and I really need to make a lot of units because I can't let the Malians sit. The Malians, with their passive income, is really, really strong. A lot of Malian players are doing cow booms, which allows them to get a whole bunch of passive income, and if I don't attack, if I let them sit and build that passive income, by the time we hit castle, they will make more units than me. All my passive income from my free upgrades, to my berries, to my sacred sites will not be able to compete with the passive income of the Malians. So I have to put pressure on early and use that pressure to increase my advantage and win either in late feudal or early castle. So that's my plan. How I execute that, though, is going to matter on how I respond to what the opponent is doing. So now that you know my plan ahead of time, based on what my civ and the opponent's civ is good at, let's go into the execution of it. So we have a very normal Delhi opening. I'm not going to sit on this for too long. If you're curious on my Delhi opening or how I do that, let me know. I can do a separate thing on that. So, I'm scouting, doing normal scouting things. So personally for me, for Delhi, you actually have the option to scout deep into the opponent's base and then kind of take a whole site for yourself. I tend to avoid that on high view because high view, the deer are so hard to find. The sheep are so hard to find. And I'm trying to find where my resources are early on, especially where are my other two berry patches I know I'm going to have to go for. But my goal is my scout needs to be on the enemy side by the time they age up, so I can tell what they're doing and react to that. My plan stays the same, but how I execute that plan will change based on what my opponent is doing. I get some sheep, drop them off, run back. I saved a little time by sending my sheep walking. Okay, so now I hit their base, they just aged up. So I see they're already starting to set their pit mines up. I need to see what production, if any, are they setting up. Okay, so I see the landmark, Mansell Quarry. So they're not going to do some weird trade thing. Circle around, and now I see a stable. So, as the Delhi, what do? Well, I was already throwing down a stable. And generally, as Delhi, I will always throw down a stable because Ghazi Raiders are so good. Ghazi Raiders are a Delhi advantage. They're good against armored units. They're just a good raiding unit. And as Delhi, I need map control. I need the ability to travel the map quickly to put pressure, so I will almost always go Ghazi Raiders. But the units I go after Ghazi Raiders are dependent on my opponent. Also, I always go Tower of Victory because the speed advantage on your archers and your spears is too good to pass up, in my opinion. So I see he goes stables. How do I react? Well, my reaction is going to be I can fight stable on stable. What should my secondary unit be? Well, I'm going to probably guess if they go spears to this, I need to go archers. Probably going to be my guess. But I run back, And I go archery range because, in my mind, if they do warrior scouts, archers are good. If they go sofa, archers still help. Archer was the safe bet to me. I also made sure I go for warrior scout my blacksmith down. But my reaction is archers because that feels like the safe bet to bolster my army and react to what could potentially happen, which is he's probably going to go Donzos to protect his resources. Archers make the most sense. Go check back out. I'm keep trying to go at his base because I can't just sit. I need to check. Boom. I see Donzo. Time to make archers. I then wait because I know with my advantages, I have the early part of feudal as my biggest advantage. I will have more resources because of berries, because I don't spend money on ecos, so I can make more units if I just wait patiently. So I build up my forces. And then I put down stables. Why? And not stables, barracks. Why? I'm once again reacting to my opponent. I've seen they go horsemen, they've gone sofa, and they've gone warrior scouts, and they're going donzos. So getting spears up actually counters that very well, especially if they might go javelin thrower. So in my opinion, I have to start massing spears as the natural counter. That's my reaction to this. I'm still putting pressure. I push back. Still taking fight. I'm still trying to be careful. Going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then once I push up, I notice that they are lacking units, and that's when it's pedal to the metal time. I have to take my advantage now. I build a second barracks because in my mind, I need to get spearmen out. That's actually be my biggest advantage because I haven't seen my opponent check yet. I've seen no new units. They're still doing the same unit comp. As Delhi, this is my time. I have taken space as Delhi, so I use the map. I take resources that are farther away from my base. I get my scholars onto the sacred sites. I am pressing my advantage. To maintain my advantage, I can't lose my army. So in this case, I'm going to keep aggression, but not just run to the TC. I'm going to kill his eco. And knowing that he's probably going cow boom, I need to keep rotating through the eco and slowing them down. He takes a bad fight. I'm, once again, pushing my advantage. You notice I never stop making units. Until I decide it's time to go castle, I am not going to stop making units. Destroying houses, simple enough. I'm just being annoying. He tries to poke at me. I'm going to set up walls, protect my sacred site, because I'm kind of protecting these two sacred sites by just existing right here. Like, I'm defending them just by being here. Tip, if I ever get raided, don't overreact. I have basically all of my production on a hotkey. I hotkey one wave of production to defend my base and then reset it back forward. I start checking with my Ghazi raiders because I'm guessing he has gold or some resources over here. I take this fight here. Pro tip, not a pro, but a tip on this sort of fight. If you're fighting archer spears versus spears cavalry, you do your initial engagement with your spears and you have your archers focusing on their spears. When their horsemen try to come around and get on your archers, you take your spears and you run them back and move them once they're near the horsemen. You move your archers back again and have them focus on spears. I noticed with my horseman that he has his cowboom set up, but he hasn't yet aged up, and I'm actually catching him at a really good time. I win this engagement. I know I need to, once again, maintain pressure. I am aging up in the back. I kind of did a natural age up where I'm still making units, but I had so much eco that I could still age up. So I'm going to drop my compound defender. I know one advantage as Delhi is getting up that quick keep. So I'm going to put all these units on stone with my goal of getting a keep and keep dropping as I maintain pressure. Once again, my civ advantage, I can get cheaper keeps. I'm going to use those. I have found his main eco. I stopped the age up, and here's what I know. I know he probably has some more eco over here, but what's his most important eco? It's these cows. He wants to age up here. He wants to maintain this free resources. So my aggression is just existing right here. That's my reaction. Even as I get raided, it doesn't matter. I'm once again going to send a wave of units here to defend. I'm going to bring my villagers back, but I'm fine. I'm picking up relics. I'm getting sacred sites. I'm using the resources on the map. And I am existing here and keeping up the pressure. I start sending gold units. Once again, my advantage in castle is gold units. I'm going to use those. I'm just burning production. I come drop a keep on these two gold mines. And now he realizes he has no safe place to put his villagers, and I win. So, to summarize once again, the thought process going that I had a plan that fit my civ based on the opposing civ, and that comes from time. If you're interested on specific matchups, let me know. That's something I do want to break down in the future, but for now, it comes from playing. 2, once I've decided my plan, I continuously adjust it based on what my opponent was doing. What units are they creating? What units do I need to create? Where is their eco? Can I go disrupt that? And maintaining healthy aggression. Not over-aggressing, not throwing my units away in bad fights or under the TC, but sticking on their eco so they could not catch back up, and then using my map advantage to move on the map. I was taking berries everywhere. I was getting sacred sites. I was grabbing relics to maintain my advantage. So that's an example of creating a plan, following through based on what you've seen, and maintaining that all the way to the end. If you have any questions, you're looking for any, or you have any feedback for this video, please let me know. I'd love to hear it. Good luck on your games.